So Vincent went into the seminary, and in some ways you would think he would be perfectly suited. This is a painting he did. It's called Still Life with the Bible. You notice the Bible is open. This is reflective of Van Gogh's early life. In fact, Theo said that Vincent van Gogh memorized huge chunks of Scripture, the entire book of John, for example. That he had the entire book of John memorized. So he went to seminary thinking he could handle this, he could do this, and when he got to seminary, when he got there and he began to study, he found out he did not fit in at all. We don't know exactly why. It's not like we have a chance to interview what went wrong or how it didn't work out. We know that one of the teachers at the seminary said that they were frightened by Van Gogh's extreme zeal. Any of you ever seen a movie called not Forrest Gump, that's a different movie called Patch Adams? You remember the scene in there where Patch Adams is basically on trial for his license, whether he gets to keep his doctor's license, and the charge against him is what? Excessive happiness. Extreme zeal for a preacher would seem like a positive thing to me. There's other possibilities. Van Gogh was a pretty independent guy. Maybe he was prideful. Maybe he just didn't take well to instruction. It's possible. It's possible. Sometimes those two might go hand in hand even, mightn't they? For whatever reason, he really didn't do very well at seminary, but they needed to do something with him. So they didn't make him a sort of a full ordained pastor, but what they did with him is they gave him a commission. And they sent him out, and they sent him to, guess where they sent him? To the undesirables. They sent him to a poor mining town where nobody else wanted to go, and Van Gogh was very happy with that. That's what he wanted. He said, that'd be great. So they sent him to the mining town. Again, he said, I want to sow the words of God to the poor, to the poorest of the poor. So he went to this mining town. This is a picture he drew of the miners' wives carrying the packs along their back as they go along. And he went to the mining town, and he began to preach, and you know what happened? Nothing. Nobody came. The miners wouldn't come in on Sundays. And he started to say, why won't they come? This is a mining town. They need to hear the words of God, but they're not coming. And you know where he discovered they all were? In bed. You know why? Because it was the only day they didn't spend 13 hours in the bottom of a mine. So you know what he did? He said, if they won't come to me, I'll go to them. And he literally went down in the mines with them. Day after day after day, he went and he tried to preach to them while they were working in the mine. And as you might guess, this mostly annoyed them. But can you see the heart? Can you see the zeal? Which led him to actually enter the mines. This is a lot of what our church is aspiring to be, isn't it? To go out and to be there. He said this in his letter to Theo. He said, the miners work under the most hideous conditions you can imagine. They all look sick and half near death, emaciated. They live in perennial darkness. They enter the mines in the morning before it's light, and they don't come out until after it's dark. It's dark in the mines, and they live a race apart from anyone else in the world. They are isolated. You think he understood isolated? This is the guy at the seminary couldn't figure out what to do with. This is the guy that even when he went to the miners, he didn't fit in with them. For all his heart for them, they weren't responding. But he saw them. And he saw that they lived in this darkness. As he became more disillusioned with what he could do as a preacher, he became more interested in the possibility of simply exposing their plight to other people. He says, I should be very happy someday if I could draw them so that these people could be brought before the eyes of other people. And this began Van Gogh's passion, to draw common people, peasants, miners, people that other people walked by without even noticing, people that were just hanging out, people that were just there, people that most of us wouldn't give a second glance to. He wanted to draw them in such a way that he said to Theo that he could show the spark of God in these people. Some examples. It's clear that at some point in here, he became so frustrated, so angry, so disappointed with his inability and the church's inability, and to his mind, the church's lack of desire to reach these people, that he turned his back on the church. The million-dollar question is whether he turned his back on God. Did he turn his back on the church as he saw it, or did he turn his back on God? You know what? It's ambiguous. The truth is, Vincent van Gogh was looking for something he was having a very difficult time finding. He was longing for something. He began to seek for it in his drawings. He began to look for it in his drawings. He couldn't reach the miners. He sold one painting. Everything he tried to do was not working out in the way that he desired or anticipated. It was like nobody wanted to see what he saw. Nobody wanted to look at what he wanted to paint. He said, I want to do drawings which touch people. I want to paint men and women with something which the halo used to symbolize. Remember, the art, the tradition in art for a long time was to paint good people, saintly people, and put an actual halo above their head. And Vincent van Gogh's saying, I have never seen anybody with a halo. He says, but I have seen good people. I've seen the farmer laboring hard at his task. I want to paint him as he looks, and I want people to see what I see. The spark of God. This is one of his most famous paintings. And this is such a good example of how what Vincent van Gogh sees is not what I see. And in all honesty, not what I see. If I were to label this picture, if I were to title this picture, what might I call it? Man in Despair. I don't know, something like that. You know what Vincent van Gogh calls this picture? It's called At Eternity's Gate. What does he see? What does he see when he looks at this? He calls this At Eternity's Gate. He says this about it. He says, in this painting, I've tried to express what seems to me one of the strongest proofs of the existence of God and eternity. Look at it again. Do you see the strongest proof of the existence of God and eternity? I'm not sure I do. But you begin to get a hint at what he means, don't you? You begin to think there is something there. In this simple, poignant posture. And the more you look at it, the more you realize you don't even know what the poignancy is. Is the man in despair? Is he praying? I don't know. He says there's something precious, something noble, which cannot be destined only for worms. Look at it again. The more you look at it, the more you think about it, you do begin to see the nobility, don't you? Even if it's despair, you begin to see the nobility and the ability to despair. The beauty in the pose. The moment that's captured.